إليه ورتل القرآن ترتيلا.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, jazakumullahu khair. Welcome back to the program Art of Recitation. Just before the break we heard the recitation of the Quran recited by Sheikh Mishair al-Rashid al-Afasi, and mashallah, beautiful recitation, and we will talk more about it and other recitation inshallah. So Ustad Ashikur Rahman, so the recitation was played, and mashallah we know that currently many, thousands, if not like hundreds of thousands of people are listening to the recitations of the Quran read by Sheikh Mishair al-Rashid al-Afasi. What is the advice given to people who are just starting to learn how to recite the Quran, and they want to recite like they want to become the next Afasi, or they want to become Sheikh Sudais, So what is the advice for that?
Like everything else, we need to start with what's most important. We need to start at the foundation. When you start building a beautiful building, you don't start with the decorations first. You start with a strong foundation to make sure it lasts for long. And the foundation of the Quran is the makharij al-huruf, is the ahkam al-tajweed, is to make sure your rules and regulations of your recitation and starting off with the pronunciation of the letters are perfect, are correct.
Good.
Now, you need to find, there's two ways of doing it. One is to listen to someone reciting in that perfect way. That's one part of it. It's not two ways, it's two parts to one job. One is to listen to someone who's reciting in the perfect way, and second is to recite it to someone so that they can make sure you're reciting it correctly.
So have a teacher.
Exactly. And Quran is something that you must have a teacher for. You can't learn it by yourself. It's not a do-yourself job. You can't do it because you need to, the Quran is, it must be listened to by someone else and tell you that you're going wrong there. That particular point you need to correct in that particular way. So Quran is, a teacher is very, very important. So the first thing is to correct the actual base of your recitation, which is the ahkam al-tajweed, the rules and regulations of it. That's when that's firm and strong. And when to name a few people to listen to correct those aspects is someone like Sheikh Mahmoud Khalil al-Husari. Mahmoud Khalil al-Husari, he's amazing. His recitation is very clear, and every single thing that he recites is very, very crystal clear, and you can tell exactly what he's reciting.
And this, when we talk about Sheikh Mahmoud al-Husari, his recitations are readily available online.
Of course, just write.
That's good.
Just write the simple word Husari, H-U-S-A-R-Y on YouTube, and hundreds will come.
So this is one suggestion you would definitely give, that those who are trying to recite the Quran, if they can, while they're reciting the Quran, they can choose from the reciters, and one of them is Sheikh Mahmoud al-Husari.
Definitely. And every Qari has his specialities, and one of the specialities of Sheikh al-Husari, like the rest, is that his recitation is very clear. And it's very slow, so you can easily pick up the correctness of it.
Good.
That's number one. Number two, once you've corrected your foundations, now you can think about what tone you want to recite in, how you can beautify it, who you want to recite like out of the mashayikh.
So the first phase is that you have to get your the pronunciation and the rules done.
Definitely.
So I should not try to start reciting like big imams at this very moment. The first phase has to be that getting my pronunciation done, right?
You can try and read like the big main imams, but not focus on their tone first. Focus on their quality first.
On the quality, tajweed,
and then
everything.
Secondly, after you've done that, then you can focus on the delivery of it.
Excellent.
The beauty of it, the tone of it.
The tone.
The voice of it,
Jazakallah khair. So, Mulana Hudayfa, so when Sheikh mentioned Sheikh Mahmoud al-Husari, is there any other imam that people can listen to as well?
I mean, mashallah, Sheikh mentioned very well. The main thing is to get your makharij and your sifat and your tajweed rules corrected properly. Like you say in Urdu, naqal ke bhi aqal chahiye. So if you start just copying a qari, then you understand, why, for example, he's done a gunna here, he's done a mad here, you understand. So the first thing is to learn the rules of tajweed, and then you polish your recitation with a qari who can listen to the qari, and then you can start to imitate and copy his recitation. But that comes, like the Sheikh said, later on. First thing is to get your foundations right. And in terms of qari, mashallah, everyone out there, all the qurra, everyone has their own unique recitation. So they're all very good. mashallah. It's just about whose tune you can adapt. Later on, once you do your foundation, whose tune, and whichever you find it easier, you know, you listen to that.
And there's a point mentioned that there is, in order to start with, there's Muallim, which is the program by Sheikh Muhammad al-Manshawi, that he would recite and the child would recite. You would know about it because Sheikh Manshawi is from there.
Yeah.
Would you elaborate on that, Ustad?
Well, Sheikh Sadiq al-Manshawi of Egypt, he has a set of audio recordings in which, I don't think he done it himself, but it was edited later on. So he recites an ayah and he has a group of children reciting after him that same ayah. So those children can represent the student at home and Sheikh Sadiq al-Manshawi can represent the teacher at home. So when he recites, you recite with the children, and that's, I think, a very good way to do home tuition for free.
The concept behind that, I think, is like the Sheikh mentioned, that you need a ustad. You need someone to guide you. And if you're just gonna sit there at home and do something individually, no one is there to guide you, to take your mistakes out, or to say, okay, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong. So you definitely need a ustad, you know, to guide you in your recitation, to help you with the tajweed and with your qira'ah.
Excellent. Jazakumullah khair. So one of the points after this would be, as the requests are have come in, is if the Shaykh can recite Surah Al-Falaq, you know, Surah Al-Falaq and Surah Al-Nas, and then tell us what are the normal mistakes or the usual mistakes that are there that we need to correct, inshallah, bi'iznillahi ta'ala, and then we can do that. So Ustad Ashur Rahman, if you can recite Surah Falaq and then mention some of the mistakes.
Surah Al-Nas first or Falaq first?
Falaq first, and then we will have Surah Al-Nas recited by Malana Hudayfa.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد.
So what are the common mistakes in Surah Falaq that can be easily corrected, inshallah?
Inshallah. I just want to start off by saying that some of the problems that we face in terms of pronunciation of Arabic huruf is mainly because of the fact that Arabic is not our first language. Even for those countries who still speak Arabic, Arabic is still not their first language, and the Arabic I'm talking about is the classical Arabic. So you find, for example, in Egypt, there are certain letters they can't pronounce themselves. Even in Saudi Arabia, there are certain words, certain letters that they find it very difficult. But generally, there are a group of letters which we as in Asians or non-Arabs, find hard. And to make a list is, for example, ha, throat letter, ayn, again, throat letter, qaf, back of the mouth letter. We have, for example, hamza and ha as well, but these are a bit less. But generally, the reason why we make these mistakes in those letters is because these letters, as Sheikh in our last show mentioned, is that these letters are not available in our own languages, so it's very difficult. But in Surah Al-Falaq, I'll start with Isti'adha. Isti'adha, A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem. The mistakes that are commonly made in A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem, and obviously that's whenever you recite A'udhu Billah, is the ayn, of course, A'udhu. And a lot of people say the dhal as a zay. So it's A'udhu, or it's supposed to be dhal, A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem. And I think the rest of it is quite easy. Of course, Allah's name here is empty. And also one more thing, when you say A'udhu, the first thing, the Hamza here is empty. It's not full. A lot of the time, some of the reciters, they say A'udhu, A'udhu. But the full mouth letter is only 7. Okay, and the rest of them are empty mouth. So you have no excuse to make it full. Then you say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Bismillahir Ra is full mouth.
Just before that, Sheikh. So what we are saying is the ayn has to be pronounced from the back of the mouth, at the back of the middle of the throat, which is aha, so they can practice like that. And the dhal, which is they bring the tongue to and touch the front upper teeth of it, and then it touches
slightly sticky,
comes out. So it's dhal.
Exactly.
So a'udhu.
That's correct.
Okay, mashallah. So Bismillah.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The ra here is Bismillahir Ra. That ra here is full. So it's not Bismillahir Ra. Ra.
We cannot say ra.
No. Ra whenever has a dhamma or a fatha, then it's full. So he has a fatha. So we say Bismillahir Ra. Right? And then we say Rahma. The ha is also from the middle of the throat. So it's ha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
So basically, when the ra has a fatha, which is the zabar,
Zabar.
okay,
Yep.
at the top of it,
Yep.
or dhamma or the pesh,
Yep.
okay, so it will be full mouth, so
Exactly.
it will be ra rather
Exactly.
than re, ya istara.
Exactly.
Okay, good.
And it's
mashallah.
empty when it has a kasra as
Yes,
ri.
yes.
Okay. So Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, that's fine. Then we say قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. Now, in our subcontinent, when we emphasize the pronunciation of the qaf, we say qaf a bit too harsh. To such an extent, it becomes like it becomes what it's not supposed to. We say qaf.
Yeah.
So to certain, it becomes a throat letter, but it's actually from the back of the mouth. So we say qul.
Yeah.
Qul, not ul.
Yeah.
Ul is too much.
Yes.
But qul is correct. Qul, so the qaf has to be correct. Qul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq. The same qaf at the end of the ayah.
At the end.
Yep. Min sharri ma khalaq. The ikhfa here, a lot of people miss. Min sharri, that nasal sound.
Yeah, so there's hiding of the letter which
Exactly,
will come in
the hiding of the noon sakin of the tanween. Min sharri ma khalaq, again the qaf here. Wa min sharri, again the ikhfa here. Ghasiqin, the ghain is a bit of a gargling sound. Gha,
Yes.
gha, not ga. غاسقين, again قاف here. إذا وقب ومن شر, again إخفاء. نفاثة, the tha here is similar to the dhal in the sense that you have to stick your tongue out, but it's not, it hasn't got that frizzy sound to it.
Yes.
So نفاثة,
Thati.
ثاتي في العقد.
So we would say this tha like tha.
Exactly.
Okay, pronouncing it like
yes. Like a bit spicy sound to it, yeah.
Yes.
نفاثات في العقد, عين here from the middle of the throat,
Yes.
عقد. And then the dal is qalqala, and that's another rule that maybe we can discuss in a different time. And then وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ, إِخْفَى here, and then ha again.
Okay.
حَاسِدٍ إِذَا
And
حَسَدٍ.
then, so once we concentrate on these things and then recite it, it has a huge effect on how you recite it.
Definitely, yeah.
Definitely. Jazakallah khair, Ustad.
Barakallah feek.
Ashiq Rahman. Mulana Hudayfa. Surah An-Nas.
Inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
Jazakallah khair, Mulana Hudayfa. What are the common mistakes that people make and they can be easily avoided?
Most of the mistakes have been covered by Shaykh here in Qul A'udhu, for Qaf and A'u, for example, the Hamza
Ayn
there,
has to be clear,
and the
Hamza.
Ayn has to be clear again. The Hamza is the empty mouth letter, and so it needs to be differentiated. Alif, so Hamza and Ayn. But the majority of is the ghunna here in every ayah in Surah Nas, on the noon here.
And what is ghunna for just the viewers?
A ghunna is whenever you have a noon and a meme with a shadda on top, you must make it
and the shadda is that W sign.
Yes,
you know, that
yes.
tashteed or something. There are two letters to recite
That's
it
right,
together.
yes,
Okay,
yeah. So
good.
you got a noon and a meme. When you have a noon and a meme with a shadda on top, you must make the nasal sound.
So it's recited in the nose.
Okay. That's right, yeah.
Good.
And it takes a bit of I think 2-second time to pronounce the ghunna. So many people will pronounce ghunna and read it very quickly. So they're not really making ghunna.
So at least two harakats.
It takes a time of 2 harakat to pronounce the ghunna fully on the noon and meme.
And when you say haraka, it means that when we say alif with a zabar or a fatha, that's a. And it should be that's also
yeah,
okay,
so
good,
you can
good.
say 2 harakas, so 2 counts long.
2 counts long.
So
That's good.
do alif ke barabar.
Do alif ke barabar. There
So
you
if
go.
you say alif, that time, to say to alif. So that's how much you must stretch to pronounce the ghunna fully.
So it should be recited like, give an example.
قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ.
Okay,
Yeah.
so a little bit of
A little
ghunna on
bit,
the nose
yes.
in the recite. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah. And of course there are other rules there. For example, bi ra needs to be mouthful, and then ba, there's a kasra underneath the ba. Many people read it majhul,
Yes.
bi rabbin, so ma'roof to read it bi
Bi
rabbin.
Rabbi. So it's not be, it should be B.
bi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Ilahin nas, again ghunna here. Min sharri ikhfa here. Again, we know the rule of ikhfa.
Yes.
After noon sakin, there is one of the 15 letters of ikhfa.
Come in, then we will
inshallah,
implement hide
yes.
it.
So you need to hide that. Min sharri waswas al-khannas. Alladhi, again, alladhi has a dhal. So the pronunciation,
the buzz sound would come in out or
the
something.
tip of the tongue when it touches the upper Sanaya Uliya. So these are basic sort of rules that you need to implement. There are no people don't sort of make major sort of mistakes where it changes the meaning or anything like that in this surah, but it's just sort of cosmetic to do with tajweed and makharij.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Ustad. So, and we know from the hadith of Prophet ﷺ that Allah says in the Quran, why is it important to recite it correctly and beautify it? Because hadith of Prophet ﷺ that beautify the recitation of the Quran, for it increases the beauty of the Quran, subhanAllah. It increases it. So this is something that we need to keep in our mind, that it is something that has to be done. There is no excuse for it, and we need to try, and everyone can do it. By the way, we've had people who learned how to recite the Quran within a month. Within a month they learned the ahsan al-qawaid, and they moved on. And mashallah, as we know in Egypt, we have give us an example that there are children who are like 6 or 7 or 8 years old, and they're reciting the Quran, right or not?
Definitely.
So it's something. Is it easy? Is it not easy? What is it?
My understanding of it is whatever you spend a certain amount of time on, whatever you learn is easy.
There you go.
Whatever you don't learn, it's not easy.
It's
as simple as that. If you spend time on it, it will become easy.
Yeah.
Excellent.
وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ. We made Quran easy for you.
Subhanallah. Allah says in the Quran. Jazakumullah khair, Ustad Ashkar Khan, once again for coming to the program. Jazakumullah khair. Viewers, once again, we hope you benefited from the Quran, and we will have the next program, inshallah, and many other programs coming in where we will be taking live calls in order to help correct the recitation of Quran. And in the next program, we will be learning about various other recitations of the Quran. So the one which we were reciting and learning about today is called Hafs and Asim, as mentioned by Sheikh Abdul Qadir Ambi. The name of this recitation is Hafs and Asim, and then we will be talking about other recitations of the Quran and how Prophet ﷺ recited, which we maybe are not aware of. Inshallah, bi'iznillahi ta'ala, until then, we hope Allah accepts it and allow us to be from the people of Jannah. Take care. For myself and the guests, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
بسم الله